tell you if a movie's good. Brian will review the flicks that he's seen up on the big screen or in his Netflix queue. Before you spend bucks, remember his taste sucks. He loved that train wreck piece of shit Transformers 2. Hooray for Baldywood!
Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation. It's in theaters now. It's directed and written by Christopher McQuarrie. We talked about him. He's the writer of Usual Suspects. He wrote Edge of Tomorrow. Have you guys seen Edge of Tomorrow?
Yes.
No, it's making the rounds on cable now, right?
Yeah.
It's solid.
Yeah, it's solid.
For what I think people kind of wrote it off as, a sort of silly summer movie. Tom Cruise was maybe about a bit of a downswing public, opinion-wise. That's a solid movie.
I think the problem with that movie is there were too many movies and too many Tom Cruise movies that felt like that movie from the trailer, from the commercial. Like, it's in the future.
It's like another
he's a soldier.
Oblivion, really?
Yeah, what's going on?
Didn't he just do this?
Right, he's got to go back and do something. And there were a slew of those movies that came out all in the same
Gina, why the face?
4-month period.
Wait, I'm sorry. There's time travel in Mission Impossible?
No. We're talking about another movie.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, now I'm interested.
We're talking about the Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay,
right.
okay.
And
I didn't know there was time travel in that either.
Slight tangent.
Well done. But yeah, there was this whole, and also, here's what you have for everybody. Everyone is basically driving down the grapevine of life. And we pass the exits and we look up and we see the sign that says McDonald's or Burger King or In-N-Out or whatever. And we really have about 4 to 7 seconds to make that move to the on-ramp or off-ramp, or we just kind of sail past it. And you'll do that move when we've all done it, where you've kind of looked up and you went, hey, it's Denny's. And then you kind of went, let's keep driving. Maybe we'll find an In-N-Out.
Yeah, we'll hold out for the In-N-Out.
And sometimes it's a really good dining place, but you just blast past it because you looked up and you saw big orange letters on a brown background, and you just kind of went, nah. And then and once you passed it, you never get off and double back and go, maybe I was wrong. That's what happened with Edge of Tomorrow. Turns out they were serving up some good vittles.
Very apt analogy. Well done. That's worthy of a sniff.
Thank you.
Mission Impossible Rogue Nation is the follow-up. Christopher McQuarrie, Tom Cruise. What is her name? Rebecca Ferguson is the sort of co-star. Jeremy Renner, Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, and Alec Baldwin. You asked if this is okay for Sonny. This is, you know what? All the violence. Okay, the stunts are pretty spectacular, and they're really pushing the stunts as a real selling point, which is kind of amazing because we're selling the movies now based on the fact that, oh no, these are real people doing real things. Right. So this isn't green screen. This isn't a superhero flying through the air. These are people doing things, and they are impressive. They're well done. The violence is not very bloody. I noticed at a certain point there's never was blood in this movie. All the violence is kind of bang, pow, action.
Fisticuffs.
Exactly. There is some implied torture stuff, but it's a PG-13 movie for a reason. There's no nudity, no sex or anything, so it might be an intense for Sonny, but it's not going to be inappropriate.
All right. You can do it.
In my opinion.
He literally just covers his eyes when the time comes.
Okay, then he'll be fine. Intense. Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
They don't explain the Rogue Nation part very much. If I'm to describe the plot from memory, at one point the British government set up a shadow organization to government-sponsored terrorism to bring down other governments, but then one of the guys who was in charge went rogue and faked a bunch of other people's deaths and got them to join him, so now he's trying to get back at the government by doing, I'm not sure what he's trying to do.
Kind of pseudo-double agent.
There's definitely some double agency going on, and I don't know what the plot exactly is other than what I described. Maybe it's for Mensa members. Gina, you might like this. This might be for you.
I'm not sure that there's another movie where nobody knows what the plot is.
I would fail a test on the plot of this movie.
All right, and it's a thriller. It's an intrigue sort of thriller. And nobody Matt Atchity didn't seem to know what the plot was either, but it's hovering in the mid-90s on Rotten Tomatoes.
93%.
That's very rare.
It's extremely
for
rare.
not knowing what the plot is on a plot-driven.
Yes, the plot should matter, but it kind of doesn't.
All right. But Gary saw it. Gary, do you know what the plot is?
Brian did a very good job. I don't think I could do much better. it's confusing. The plot's hard to follow, but I also noticed, speaking of Rotten Tomatoes, I saw a trailer for this. It was the first time that in a trailer it had the Rotten Tomatoes score on there.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I saw a TV commercial.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, I say trailers
TV
sometimes. It's in the movies,
on
but
TV.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
But I don't know, Brian. I don't know if I was the only one. My girlfriend thought this too, but I
Baldywood, not Gary
walked out. I walked out and thought that the female lead in this was distractingly age appropriate.
Meaning what?
Meaning
she's too old.
She was older.
Oh,
than,
she was an adult.
for
Yeah,
her.
she was an
older
adult,
than
sure.
a chick would be in this type of movie usually.
Distractingly age appropriate.
Well,
she was
yeah.
so
It
right.
was,
she was
it was
distracting.
exactly right for Tom Cruise's age.
Right.
But
Yeah, there was no romantic interest whatsoever. I don't think they even so much as kissed.
Well,
Not
she's
really,
a little
no.
long in the tooth. I think.
Yeah.
These
You're
Mission
knocking on
Impossible
the door
movies,
of 40.
These Mission Impossible movies are really sexless. Like even the first one, I don't think they even so much as had a look, but let alone a kiss or anything. These are just action movies.
Good.
But whatever. It's a good movie. I think what Gary is trying to say and what I observed is it's needlessly elaborate, the plot and the stuff that the guys go through. I'll very, very minor spoiler because it doesn't even come halfway through the movie. But at one point, the bad guys are attempting to assassinate the Prime Minister of Austria. I don't know why, but they want to assassinate the Prime Minister, and they choose the very convenient location of a packed opera house to have not
Stealthy.
one but three snipers that's just in the bowels of this thing, like
Gotta triangulate,
take
man.
aim at them, and like for redundancy purposes, if one misses, there's two backups. So you have to pay these guys,
witnesses.
hire them, and they have to escape once they make the shots through. It's a horrible plan. Shockingly, you're going to find this hard to believe. Tom Cruise thwarts the plan. He kills one of the snipers, and but one takes a shot and misses. And as soon as the place starts to empty out, the Prime Minister is rushed to his waiting SUV and drives off. And as soon as he gets about 100 feet away, it blows up. They had a failsafe, which was a car bomb,
Right.
which they could have eliminated the entire plan and just blown him up. That's the most efficient way to do it.
Also,
Needlessly elaborate.
if I'm a sniper and you say, look, we want you to take out the Archduke and over at the Opera House, I'm like, well, first off, thank you for your business.
Right.
Appreciate
You
that.
will not be disappointed.
You'll not be disappointed.
Please leave a good review on Yelp.
Yep. So thanks for thinking of me. So I'll get up on like the balcony, probably in the back there, and I should be able to get a pretty good shot from there. And then they go, yeah, that's where Barry's going to be. And I'm like,
Whoa,
as
whoa,
a sniper, I'm like,
Well, that's the spot, but why would you have more than
Why do
oh
I
no,
feel-
we don't have two snipers. We're going with three.
three snipers?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not even necessary.
No,
at this
you're
point.
fine.
Who are the other guys? Barry's one of them?
Well, Barry.
Yeah.
And Jay.
Those are world class. Those are the two other best snipers for me.
Well,
And
no,
why even have us all
Hold
show
on.
up?
The Scorpion guy passed.
But I didn't know he was real. I thought he was an urban legend.
Well, that's why I knew who he is.
Um,
Yeah, I got a text from him.
So me, Barry, and Jay.
Well, we went for
Or was it
went
Barry,
out-
Jay, and I? Or either
Well,
way.
we went for Jay, and then we went for Barry.
Uh-huh.
Well, no, we went for Scorpion.
Right, of course. Well, yeah,
Scorpion.
it'd be silly not to.
Yeah, we just got his people passed.
Oh,
we got a flat out pass.
Oh, you didn't go right
from
to
his
him?
people.
You should have gone
well,
right
he's
to him.
Scorpion.
He's a hard time
He's a shadow.
He has a hard time saying
He's
no.
one of the best second story guys in the business.
I'd say he's the best.
The point is, there's a couple of guys that passed.
Do you do this silly thing where you invited a couple people without saying to see if they would say yes or no, and then all of a sudden you have 3 invites out there?
There's a baker's dozen of other prominent
There's
snipers
more?
in this region, and some from in neighboring regions. Just either they passed, their people passed, their schedule didn't line up. Anyway,
Right.
I'm not here to insult you. We're looking
feels like
for
I've been
sort of a
insulted.
third wheel on this sniper date. You know what I mean?
Please tell me it's Barry and
It's not that you're not a good shot.
I would consider myself an excellent. I'm a sniper, for God's sake.
No, I haven't. Obviously, you're well respected in the community. It's just, it is allergy season, and you do sort of have that thing going
That is
on.
true.
And if something came up at the last second, you just got a case of the sneezes
Right.
or the sniffles. I'm just looking for redundant. Again, your
you're-
check's
you're-
going to clear.
That's the most
Bring
important
a
thing,
sack
I guess.
lunch.
Yeah, well, I do
We'll
that
see you
anyway.
at the Opera
Yeah,
House.
I'll be there. I already have the tux on rent, so I got to show up anyway.
Yeah, you do that movie, you turn your hat backwards, right? That's
Turn
your
my
thing.
formal hat backwards. my opera hat backwards.
Yeah, you turn your top hat backwards is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Actually, turn it sideways.
It's more
a
about
little
the,
less
it's
of
more
a
about the
brim.
motion. It's really
Anyway,
more about the
I shouldn't have
motion.
brought up Scorpion and the rest of the
I kind of
guys.
wish you hadn't.
You know what? I've been told by Z, who's the main guy.
You talked to Z also?
Well, He says I'm a little too chatty.
I had lunch with that motherfucker today, and he didn't say anything, but he knew I was going to the opera.
Don't tell him you heard it from me.
I will not tell him. He will not know anything about this.
His car has an ejector seat, so it's really kind of uncomfortable because every time I drive with the guy, and I don't know whether he's passed along the information or not, and he's like, I'm going to go for the cigarette lighter, I'm going to change the radio or turn on the defroster. You know,
get jumpy.
I always freeze. It freaks me out.
You always check your seatbelt over and over again. Is this thing in?
Well, it's attached to the seats, the
it's
problem.
one of those,
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Mission Impossible?
I don't even know where we are anymore.
So yeah, needlessly elaborate. It's a good movie though. It's very good. It's well directed. There are scenes that exist. I'm not sure why they're there. He has to jump in. He has to hold his breath for 3 minutes to exchange this card or something. I don't know why he had to do it, but it was a great scene. So you're gonna get your money's worth. These are great stunts, and it's a lot of fun. And
what's with the reviewers all loving it when nobody knows what the story is? Are we all just going, "Hey man, it's fun. It's a fun romp. It's like
You're
fun
gonna get
summer romp," because they're not in love with Cruise per se.
Well, you're gonna hit and miss, but you're going to get a minimum 4 excellent scenes in this movie, and you walk away from the movie getting 4 great scenes.
I'm surprised that the critics are above 90% on Cruise and action with no plot that we can figure out.
And you know what else has it going against it? There are, by my count, 3 female characters who have speaking parts. One is Rebecca Ferguson.
What the hell?
One is, what is she credited as?
Actually, you can tell me there's a black guy in there with some verbiage.
The other one's credited as lighting technician number 1, and the other one is record shop girl. And they don't speak. This would fail the Bechdel test. You know what the Bechdel test is? The Bechdel test is a test to determine the... it has 3 questions. One, is there more than one female character with the speaking part? Do they speak to each other? And do they speak to each other about something other than a man? So it's sort of like how feminization is this movie and all that stuff. This would fail miserably. They don't speak to each other at all.
All right.
But a good movie.
All right. He'll punch himself out.
Hooray for Baldywood!
Gary, I would argue with your age-appropriate point, when there's no love interest, they make them older so that there is no love interest, so that we're not confused that there is. So
how could they possibly be interested?
Once she's over 20,
insulting.
if they make them over 26 years old, then a 51-year-old Tom Cruise cannot have a relationship with them. So that's what they do. And so oftentimes they go with, like in James Bond or something, they go with what's her name, Sir Judi Dench, or that sort of thing. So they put the female in there, but they'll make sure that There's no
way.
Yeah, they've done it with a ton of movies where they had the chick attractive in 78.
Can't be misconstrued.
That's right. That's why they do it. All right.